Let's take a look at our first bronze player. Okay. Hopefully we get good volume. I haven't checked the audio levels on this video before. Okay. He already, like, just his breathing sounds stressed. Okay, so 1492 SR versus 1484. Any silver borders? So I've always been kind of interested in seeing, but you don't actually see any silver, gold, or platinum borders, at least not in this game. So most of the games in GM recently have been just dominated by people with silver and gold borders. So what if you have multiple clips you'd want to have the SR guess of? It takes me a while to formulate each guess, so we're only going to do like one clip. You know, just be respectful to other people wanting to have their SR guest and only post one clip of yourself. What is your SR, Jayne? I float low mid master or masters, low mid GM.
Select your hero.
Instalock and Anna. You know what? I can dig it. Orisa Bastion attack. Orisa Bastion Junkrat Zarya. You know what? Could work. This could work. You know, you got your 2 DPS, you got your Bastion paired with your Orisa, you got a nice Riptire coming out from your Junkrat, and Riptire is statistically apparently the most powerful ultimate in the game. You know, Zarya Orisa is not the greatest, but you know, Zarya herself can get some high energy. You got really high healing, and you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. This comp is hilarious. This comp is like some sort of like meme strat. So silly, it might actually work.
Attack Bastion.
Ooh, you're already judging people for their picks. So, this is like one of the other things. I'm not sure if you guys... No! Bronze hype. Looking forward to this so much. Oh, I'm excited too. I'm gonna pause the notifications just so we don't get interrupted. But is he using a controller? I don't think he's using a controller. But so I've got this story that I share every single time, is that I've got a group of friends in the Alberta area that we went to and competed at LANs, right? So like actual in-person tournaments. And every single LAN that we've gone to so far, at some point during that tournament, usually the grand finals, we run a 6 support composition. So we run 6 supports and we haven't lost yet. So we just completely dominate with 6 supports. So if that doesn't kind of like prove to you that you can make pretty much any composition work, I don't know what does. But you don't need 2-2-2, you don't need like triple or quad or any specific sort of compositions or anything like that. I was there. You did that to me. Oh, there's a victim of the 6 support comp in chat. Hello, friend. Pwomp. But individual skill, or the amount of value that you can get on your individual pick, below like masters, like high masters, is way more important than forming some sort of coherent or decent composition. So don't worry about your team, what they're doing, especially if you want to like maintain your sanity. You know, yes, of course, a proper composition, assuming all other things are equal, will beat a improper composition. But on terms of like the list of things that actually matter to winning a game, that's not actually very high on the list. So how well you can perform individually has a much larger impact on the game than the composition your team is running. So especially if you are the kind of individual who is, very passionate and you know the game and your game knowledge vastly exceeds your mechanical ability, or whatever reason it is that's holding you back in bronze, then instead of tilting because you're running into a composition that is a little bit weird or off meta or anything like that, try and look at the composition, critically and say, okay, where can I kind of fit myself into this? And if you can't fit yourself in, just pick something that you can have the most individual value on. And I don't know how many times I've said this, but every time I queue into a game and people tilt and go like 4 DPS or 5 DPS, what I'll do is I'll just go Zenyatta, Discord something, and scream. There's not anything in the world that can sustain the focus fire of 5 DPS plus a Discord. So, especially in the newer meta where tanks are kind of less favored, that strategy might actually happen a lot more often. But yeah, don't worry about your composition. Nobody is even listening to Jayne anymore. How do you sub? There's a subscriber button at the... If you're on mobile, it should be like beneath the video. And if you're on PC, it should be that way. Follow my finger. Unco uses 13 centimeters per 360. You can have high sense and be good at Ana. Oh, absolutely.
Trouble, I'll bail you out.
Okay.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
We all have our jobs to do.
Okay, so we're gonna run attack bastion here. And a Junkrat.
Just like in training.
It'll be alright.
I like
Can you
sports.
play,
It'll
like,
be all right.
Like a flank or something? Like a Genji, a Tracer? A
Yeah, so
Reaper?
I would definitely
Even
recommend
Doomfist?
just letting your teammates do what they want and focus on you. You know, just take agency of your wins and your losses. Like, your opponents are going to do what your opponents are going to do, and it's just distracting trying to care about them instead of yourself.
Just
3, 2,
so we have something to get behind and pressure their
commencing.
healers.
Capture objective A.
Like, you've got a Bastion and a Junkrat. You don't really need to worry about their
I was
healers.
just
That's enough to
out of
burst through
position.
Transcendence. I like your callouts, though.
And that's top.
I love your callouts. And your aim's pretty
And it's
decent.
dead. We got to pick. Let's go.
I like this. Very nice. Very nice so far.
We got this. Go in, go in, go in. Nice counter. Counter dive.
So you've got quite a few picks here. Yeah. Now you're you're missing
Yeah, I
a
got
few
back.
unscoped shots, but overall you took the point on your first push with an attack Bastion
Good
Junkrat.
job, guys.
I like it. You're wasting sleep darts, so this is going to get you in trouble. The first thing I notice is that you're wasting sleep darts, which is very much not the thing that I thought I would point out first in a bronze VOD. But your sleep darts, you're using them offensively right now, but sleep darts are a form of protection, right? Unless you're doing some crazy like combo, your sleep dart is what you need to threaten with to save yourself. So especially if the enemy has a Tracer or a Genji and you go for these kind of like frontline sleeps, then if you use that on like trying to sleep a frontline Reinhardt, you try and like time it for his fire strike, but then a Genji or a Tracer comes for you, you're not going to have that to stay alive. Especially, it makes a sound cue. So at the higher levels, if an Ana uses her grenade or her sleep, or, you know, heaven forbid, both, she's going to get called as a dive target immediately. So, yeah, be very careful of using these cooldowns recklessly. You don't want to be going for these, like, low percent sleep darts, low percent chance of success. You want to be saving it to when you actually need it. Sleep darts are for sleeping Pharah above pits? You're goddamn right about that. What was he sleeping? He was, I think there was somebody behind, and he also tried to sleep the frontline Reinhardt. I don't know.
Fair's still behind us.
Yeah, I think there was a Pharah back
She
there.
was going after Beth.
Your scoped aim
gave up on
is,
him.
you're doing... So your scoped aim is significantly better than your unscoped aim. You're also wasting grenade, right? Grenade is not a substitute
What is
for,
happening? We took the...
Yeah, so grenade is not a substitute for bad aim, right? So the grenade is, again, a tool that you need for your survivability, especially, you know, in bronze where you're not going to be getting the same level of protection. You're not be getting, like, your second healer might not be paying as much attention to you. You can't just, don't just use your grenade for 100 free healing, right? It's for a purpose. It's way stronger if you hit it as a heal ban, or you hit it and purple the opponents, because like boosting your team's heal, unless they're taking a significant amount of burst fire, is not going to actually matter in terms of like keeping them alive, right? So Ana's healing is high enough that if you just like focus a person and accurately focus them, they should stay alive. So don't substitute your grenade for poor aim.
The point. Why are they playing it? Behind you guys, behind you guys, behind you guys. I need help with this junk.
Junk grabbing.
So yeah, your cooldown. So your aim is actually decent, but this is going to be a theme going through your entire video. Is your cooldown management sucks ass, and it's not like, well. So you're definitely better at hit scan than you are at projectile, and maybe. One of the things that I really struggled at Anna for a long time with her unscoped shots is I don't feel like there's any kind of like feedback. You know, if you shoot Farah rockets, you have a really good feel for where that rocket is because you can see it. But unscoped Anna shots are really hard for me to kind of get feedback on because they're projectile and they're decently slow projectile, but there's no real feedback. So if you just went into a custom range, you know, and tried to shoot bots, you know, with your sleep darts and your unscoped rifle, maybe you'd get like learn to use those abilities a little bit more accurately. So far you've definitely favored kind of like hit scan because you do, you know, your scope shots have been pretty decent, but your cooldown management and managing your projectile abilities has been a little bit subpar. Yeah, he did completely ignore the health pack. Yeah, I barely see the Anna projectiles. Like, even like the two guns that I'm probably the worst at in the game is Torbjorn's gun. I suck at it, and Anna unscoped. Like, I don't know. I've been to like 42. Like, Anna's probably one of my better characters when she's actually in the meta. But good lord, trying to hit those unscoped shots sometimes, I just can't do it. Complete retribution. Yep, we got 29.6, or like 40th best team or something like that. This is your VOD? Nice. X-Guilt X. Welcome to the chat, my friend. Yeah, so, and also when people do get rezzed, they have quite a few invulnerability frames where you can't actually damage them. So you used an ability a little bit early here, and you got killed. So I'm not going to worry about positioning too much, because like high tier positioning I don't think would actually help in this situation. But yeah, so far cooldown management, absolutely. Cryptographer, the tier 1 sub, I appreciate my friend. It's Zam, subscribe tier 1. Chihiro OW, subscribe tier 1. Benji Lulu with the prime sub, and Silent Soul 7 resubscribing tier 1 for 3 months in a row. Enjoy the silver keycap, my friend. I tilt here? Yeah, it's fine. We were talking about it, right? Everybody tilts, you know, everybody gets angry. You know, even like a lot of my friends, you know, a lot of my GM friends have tilted. Some of them are, you know, notorious for tilting. You've had OWL players kind of lose their shit and throw before. Like, we all get angry sometimes. I'm not gonna rag on you for that. It's just try and focus your passion in a more constructive direction is all.
I don't understand why they even push there. This is so random.
Yeah, so this is kind of like when I was talking about it yesterday where I was doing 1v1s with viewers, and most of the times, not most of the times, but like quite a few times that I got killed yesterday was because I very much expected the opponent to act in a specific way, and they did not, and they did something that surprised me. Like, I had, you know, sightlines on a corner, and then I did not expect the Tracer to just like walk around the corner and shoot me. I expected her to blink. You know, because walking around the corner is dangerous. It gets her shot, you know, and then if you blink around corners instead of walk around corners, it forces me to reacquire, and, you know, my crosshair placement isn't as powerful. So I was kind of like, I had my crosshair placed on the corner, and then the Tracer kind of like walked around the corner, and instead of doing any sort of movement pattern or instead of blinking to any direction, she just kind of like walked directly at me and shot me. And I had like such a, like, my brain had just crossed wires because I was like, why would you do that? That's so stupid. And I actually lost because I was expecting the opponent to be better than they were, right? So don't think too hard into it. And sometimes you are going to get caught off guard because the lower ranks are very, very hard to predict. But don't worry about like, why did they do that and why did it work? Just internal agency, okay? What you can do in the moment.
Okay, play defensively. You got. All right, I'm here. The hell.
The bad habit that I have in comp is that I always just assume
we're gonna need you to
that I always assume that my teammates and my opponents are just dumb until proven otherwise. So I'll do basically the bare minimum that I need to do in order to win, and then kind of like if I get punished for things, then I'll be like, oh, I actually need to respect so and so, or hey, the person on my team's actually pretty good. I guess I'll support them. But yeah, I always go into games unless I know who I'm playing with from previous matches. I go into games just assuming everyone is bad until proven otherwise. It's just kind of how I approach games. Yeah, I'll get punished early on in the game if somebody's smurfing and I didn't recognize it early enough or something like that. But yeah, I just go into games assuming everyone's bad.
Take care of that Pharah.
Yeah, so again, like these are sort of the things where you have to recognize that it's okay to die. They had a Riptire, and they used a Riptire to kill you, and you're only like 10 feet away from spawn. So getting killed by Junkrat's Riptire feels really cheap, and it feels really fucking dumb. Like, how are you supposed to do that? Especially on Ana, a character that doesn't have a 100 damage ability, so you can't one-shot the tire yourself. So this is kind of the situation where you want to turn what is a negative into a positive in order to keep yourself focused. So instead of saying, fuck, I died, god damn it, regroup, we need to kill this tire, Junkrat's a broken hero, instead of saying any of that, try and find the positive in the situation and communicate that to your team. So what is the positive in the situation? They just used Riptire. Now they don't have it, right? They've used Riptire. Ha! They solo ult me. What fools! Sort of thing. So I heard the slam on the keyboard, so I feel like you're about to get a little bit angry, but try and find the positive in the situation and recognize that some deaths are okay and some deaths are actually beneficial. So the fact that they used Riptire here is, not the worst thing. That's a very powerful ultimate, and now it's gone. And you might get rezzed by the Mercy, you might go back to the spawn, but it's like 10 seconds. It's not a big deal. And you've got a lot of time because you first capped Hollywood A.
I got
Fools.
so tired.
So you did get solo tired, yes. It's not, god damn it, I got solo tired. It's, haha, they solo tired me. The fools.
Anna's top right. Anna's top right. Kill that Anna.
It's unfortunate the coalescence didn't save the Reinhardt. I deliberately died to Riptide. Exactly.
You're powered up. Get in there.
So there's a few different ideas here with kind of... Wow. I wouldn't expect to see... This is a Pharah tech. I would not expect to see this in bronze.
Dude, it's just like bronze flank after bronze.
I love this. It's just, you're not wrong. Yeah, this is the greatest part. You're not wrong. It's just bronze flank after bronze flank. And we're going to talk about that Nano in just a second. Pretty good.
Dude,
so what she did is she kind of like jump jetted over, but then a falling Pharah, so a Pharah who uses jump jet, a Pharah that uses her hover jets makes noise, but a Pharah that just kind of like drops out of the sky makes no noise. So that Pharah kind of knew that she could get into that position without you hearing her by kind of dropping out of the sky without activating any of her abilities. So, Smurf question mark? But, yeah.
Just bronze flank after bronze flank.
Oh, never mind. He didn't do it. I just didn't hear him on the VOD. So he did hover, then he landed. He was just ground Pharah. So disregard.
Why is no one keeping track?
That's actually pretty funny, though.
Pharah?
Well, again, so try and refocus the blame on your teammates onto yourself. So try and take ownership of your wins and losses. So instead of why is nobody keeping track of the Pharah, I'll keep track of the Pharah. So what can you do that's actually going to impact the game? But blame never helps. No, but if it's an outlet, sure. And one of the things that I like to do to kind of just calm myself is if I do get angry, I mute my mic and then I flame the person. So it makes me feel better and it doesn't like negatively, affect the team. There is one clip of me on stream accidentally, I go to mute my mic, but I use push to mute and accidentally unmuted myself and then I flamed our tracer on open comms. I was like, shit. So it happens. It happens. I feel like in bronze, you'll see players who know like 1 or 2 techs and try and use them all the time. So you'll probably see at least someone doing a fairly known tech in most of your games. But yeah, having a duo is great. You can rage at the team is chill. Absolutely. So yeah, this clip is floating around. It's a pretty. It got it got a lot of traction on the channel. But yeah, it was in GM or something, and I just after we took Blizzard World, our tracer fed for like the 19th time, and I just fucking lost it. I was like, our tracer's a goddamn bot, and the tracer was like, hey. So oops. Yeah, our tracer's a bot. I'm sure somebody can find that clip. So just a few general tips on Anna herself, right? So one of the greatest things about Anna is that she has no fall off range. Scoped, unscoped, it doesn't matter, no fall off range. So you can be really far away from things and still impactful. As well as as far away as you are, targets will be smaller, yes, but you have good enough aim that doesn't matter. But they will also move less on your screen, right? So things that are far away from you will have less on-screen movement, but they will be tinier, so they should be easier to hit. Like things really close to you might be big targets, but they also move across your screen a lot faster, which makes it more difficult. So yeah, in order to make it so you are farther outside of the line of fire, as well as it's a little bit easier for you to hit targets, just constantly be way, way farther back. It'll take you out of the line of fire, like that Pharaoh wouldn't have killed you, and if you are farther back, you'll have a broader view of the field. You'll have a much higher situational awareness instead of being really close to the team fight. Like you're positioned okay, and by okay I mean it's pretty mediocre. You're probably about like 15-20 meters behind the front line or the fight, which is too close for Anna. That's good for like a Mercy. It's too close for a Zenyatta even. But yeah, you're much too close and consistently too close to your team. So especially when enemies don't usually have hard flankers or anything like that, like even on maps with longer sightlines, positioning farther back will make it a lot easier for you to deal with, because enemies won't be able to use like leap or boost or swift strike or triple blink in order to get onto you. If they expend those resources, they'll be like half the way to you and then kind of like caught in Narnia without any cooldowns of their own. Somebody found the clip of me calling a tracer a bot.
Guys, we gotta get...
Oh yeah, great aim. Oh,
Dude.
what killed you? Oh, Junkrat. 9 times out of 10, Junkrat doesn't mean to kill you, right? So instead of being anytime I get killed by a Junkrat, that's my line that keeps me sane. It's 9 times out of 10, Junkrat never meant to kill you.
Can you get off Farah?
Yeah, so internal agency. Instead of like, can you get off Farah, and obviously kind of like tilted about the case, try and be like, what would be a good way to approach this? So normally, if I want to switch compositions, the first thing that I will always say over voice comms is, I don't want to single people out. I definitely don't want to single people out, but I want to give people an opportunity to switch if they kind of feel like they're not performing. And again, sometimes you're going to get one trick, so this doesn't work with people who are like one tricking or maining heroes or can't play anything else. But my first question will be like, man, we should really change this up. Like, could we go... And no, this isn't bronze advice. This is more for like platinum. What would I do in bronze? I mean, like I definitely don't want to single people out. I definitely don't want to like single people out, because they're not gonna accept, like, they're even at the higher ranks. People like, can we get off Farah, or Farah isn't working, can we swap? Isn't gonna help out. But you can say things like, can we change it up here or something? Or does anybody like, what would be a better like strategy here or something like that? And just kind of like leave it as an open-ended question, so that if somebody does feel like they're not doing very well, it gives them the opportunity to kind of like change up at that point. But you can also kind of, you can kind of put it in a different. You can also phrase the question in a different way, like how can we deal with this widow or something? Like instead of if you want the Pharah to swap to. If you wanted the Pharah to swap to Widow, now, of course, you don't normally want people to swap onto Widow, but instead of saying, hey, can you swap off Pharah? It's not working. There. This is advice that we can apply to Bronze. I found it. So instead of saying, swap off Pharah, please, it's not working, or you suck, or anything like that, hey, Pharah, can you go Widowmaker to kill their Pharah? So you're asking them to swatch. You're asking them to switch, not because they're bad, but you're pretending it's because you want them to swap to counter somebody on the enemy team, and you're trusting in them to do it. There. Use that trick. So instead of swap please, you suck, swap because you're our only hope. You need to counter the opponent for us. Ha ha ha. 200 IQ. Swatch. They swapped heroes to kill you, Pharah. If you swap, then you'll counter them. Even if not fully true, it makes them think that they can be the smarter person for swapping each. Yeah, I agree with that, except they swapped heroes to kill you. If you say that, a lot of people... there's quite a few people who won't swap off just because it's their counter. They'll think they'll be able to power through it. So I know quite a few Masters players even who, are proud of their ability to kill their counter in comp. So it's not like, hey... Winston, the enemy has a Reaper. Can you swap off? Like, I don't know. If you ask me if I swap off Winston when the opponent has Reaper, the answer is no. I just play around the Reaper, right? So if you kind of told me in a competitive game, hey, they went Reaper to counter you. Can you go something else? I'd be like, no, I'm fine. But if they went, if somebody asked me, hey, can you go Reinhardt so that we can have a harder shield against our Widowmaker? I'd be like, hey, sure. If you're having trouble with the Widowmaker and I can help, absolutely. So... if somebody in comp told me to switch off Winston because the enemy has a Reaper, I would, unless I was doing literally nothing, I'd be like, I'll probably stay on Winston. But if they asked me to go Reinhardt for a specific reason to help them, yeah, I'd switch almost immediately.
My team still needs me.
Actually, Pharah's not bad. It's...
Go. I'll keep you here.
Yeah, exactly, Neelix. Neelix says exactly. Just because there's a counter in theory doesn't mean you get countered. I feel like maybe someone switched to the character just to counter you because it works on paper, but they can't play the character very well. I absolutely agree. Like, nobody mains Reaper in comp right now unless you're Spirit. So anybody who goes Reaper to try and counter me on Winston, I can usually just dominate. Yeah, so this position where you're at is a lot better compared to the position you were at previously. DPS Ana, though, especially when there's a Pharah, so I see the comments that are being like, lol, DPS Ana, right? But in the same way that I feel like Moira can do more if she applies 200 damage to the right target, and that has more impact than 4,000 just blind healing on tanks. As healer, knowing when and where to contribute to the offensive pressure as well as securing eliminations is very important. So the last thing I want to remove from this guy's play is his tendency to contribute to eliminations and, take his mind off healing and focus down Pharaohs. It's one of the things that Anna's best at. So yeah, I like his tendency to go DPS Anna. I absolutely like that.
Go. I'll keep you here.
That would be a perfect nade. Yep. Beautiful.
You're going to be okay.
And your positioning's good here, using angles where you're safe, but you can heal. I like it.
Dude, what are you doing?
Again, does it matter? Yeah, so you got killed there because... So before you kind of go talk to there, you got killed there because you gave up a favorable position, right? So if you had been farther back by the jail, the place where you were originally, you would have had those nicer sight lines, you would have been still in cover, and if the Pharah did move to try and contest the point, you would have been able to kill her instead of her killing you. So that, you kind of got frustrated off of the two guys kind of flanking at the jail, but those two guys more or less dragged people off the point, and then the point was still moving. So if you'd stayed in that position, you could have contributed longer to the healing and the the offensive pressure without yourself getting put into danger. So
Guys, try to please play on the payload.
looks like your fair is swapping, or maybe not, just regrouping. Nice of them regardless.
You're not
Don't
gonna
get tilted, man. We're doing okay.
I like Spork. Don't get tilted, man. We're doing okay. You need to become Spork. Be the Spork.
I
Embrace
just
the
can't
Spork.
heal. Everyone just gets a boner after the first person they see and like runs after him. I can't heal anyone. I have Nano.
You're doing a good job though. Well, you're doing a decent enough job. There's some positioning things, some cooldown management things, and I am interested to see how you use this Nano boost, so we can talk about Nano. But you're doing okay, dude. Keep it just. You're gonna win 50% of your games, and in 50%, like in all of your games, you're gonna win close to 50% of the team fights. You can't win all the team fights. You can't win all the games, and expecting to win every single game in team fight is unrealistic. Okay, so I think you're like, yeah, focus less on winning. I think would be a good tip for you, right? Even once you're Grandmaster, you're gonna win 50% of your games, and in your games, you're gonna win 50% of your team fights. There's always going to be a reason why you lost. There's always going to be a reason why you won. You can't always control those factors either. So just kind of it's the serenity prayer. It's like what is it? It's oh man. It's a religious. I'm not very religious, but it is quite a, if you are toxic. Serenity prayer. It's oh yeah. So it's grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I always thought that was a good quote. Father shared it with me a while back. So, yeah, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There, we're just going a full life coach on y'all.
I killed the Pharah. Hooker.
You're powered up. Get in there.
So I don't really like your usage of Nano Boost. This is the second time you've used Nano Boost in this manner. The first time you dropped it onto
Guys, why are we
a
so spread out?
Tracer.
I can't heal
And the
you
second
over
time
there.
you used this Nano Boost, you dropped it onto a Pharah, kind of as an initiator. IRL VOD analysis. So Nano at the higher ranks pretty much has two uses. The first use is going to be to combo with an ultimate that is going to get a large amount of kills. Like, yeah, you will see Nano Tracers sometimes, but normally in only in chaotic team fights, never as an initiator. And Pharah herself has like so much damage with her barrage that you don't need Nano at all. You should just use barrage better, pretty much. And then you wouldn't Nano barrage. Because Barrage just does an absolutely ridiculous amount of damage, and without Nano on its own, can kill through Transcendence. So there's like no reason ever to Nano a Pharah. So the targets that you'd want to be wanting to use Nano Boost on are things like Soldier and Genji primarily, and those are absolutely great uses. You can sometimes Nano turret form Bastion, which is awesome because that just murders everything. There's nothing you can do against a nanoed Bastion. And then the second primary use of Nano Boost is going to be using it on a tank that's getting focused to give them extra survivability to keep them alive. So if one of your tanks get focused, like your Ursa is cut out of position, or she exposes herself and doesn't have Fortify or something like that, using Nano Boost to combo with a DPS ultimate or to keep a tank alive. Those are like your two main uses, but both times you've used Nano Boost too early. You've used it on a target that doesn't really synergize well with the Nano Boost, and kind of like it got no value. So, you could save your Nano into a fight, and if you're falling behind on the healing, drop a Nano on your Orisa to keep her alive and also just put out a lot more damage, and it's just one more thing the opponent has to worry about. Or if the Bastion's set up on the payload and they move to contest at the last moment where the opponents can't retreat, drop the Nano on the Bastion, blah, 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 blah. But Yeah. Isn't it also important to help your tank build ult if you nano a tank? Well, yes. Like if you're doing a Zarya, for example, if you've got a Zarya and your Zarya grabs, please, 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 please don't grab the Zarya while she's attacking the grav. Okay? If you can kill the people in Graviton, and again at the higher ranks, you don't usually go for 5-6 man grabs unless you've got a really fucking good plan for how to deal with that. Like 2-man grabs, if you kill the 2 people that you caught in the grav, especially if they're supports, good enough. And then after the grav ends, you nano the Zarya for the cleanup so that she gets her next Graviton even faster. So yeah, there are fringe cases where you do a lot of other things other than nanoing like a soldier or a Genji or a tank to keep them alive. But the primary usages of nano, I feel, are dropping nano onto some sort of like DPS character who can get a lot of kills on their own. Again, Genji or soldier are the 2 most common ones, or to keep a tank alive who's being focused. But yeah, there are situations like nanoing the Zarya after grav to get her next grav faster and things like that. So. Oh, the Dipsis. I assume that's how you pronounce your name. 100 bits. He should consider switching to Mercy when all he bitches about is he can't heal and his team is spread out. He should switch to Mercy when all he bitches about is he can't heal and his team is spread out. Well, I don't know how his team being spread out, would change. Like, Mercy, yeah, Mercy would just be Guardian Angeling all over the place, but, no. Anna's fine here. You don't need to go Mercy. Good heal ban on the Roadhog, and you capped second. Nice.
I always say if you want heals, get
Appreciate the 100 bits, though.
Mm-hmm.
If they go off, it's on them.
Fuck. They're still behind us.
She's probably getting her health back. Yeah. I like that you're keeping an eye out. She probably has barrage, though, doesn't she? Keep it up. Yes! Your aim's great. I love it. Love it.
I'm reloading.
I like that you're communicating your reloads, too. She did have barrage. The enemy is using a ton of ults. That's 3 ults. And you're still kind of in it to win it. Nice. This is going well. This is going well.
I hear Junkrat.
Like, that triple Mercy kill is one that sometimes I'll fuck up. And by sometimes, I mean, not really that uncommonly. So, you've got decent aim. Hitscan aim. I love it. Used the Roadhog to keep him alive. I'm not going to complain.
Fucking terrible.
It's actually kind of funny that that's the first ult that you commented as being terrible, whereas I hated the first 2, and you kind of hated this one. So I think you're thinking about Nano Boost wrong. Yeah, I don't. There's no reason a guy like this needs to play
Give us
Mercy.
space. Orisa, put the shield.
Some of these shots are pretty great, dude. You are wasting sleep darts and heal grenades, though.
The payload is approaching its destination.
Yep, another. Yeah, so. The 3 biggest things. How the fuck did a bastard do? That's so funny. So the 3 things that you need to work on, by far, and if you get stalled out here, this is going to suck a lot. Yeah, this is going to suck. I don't think you're going to be able to push through this now that they've kind of got a Bastion on the high ground there. But the 3 biggest things that you need to work so far: positioning, cooldown management, and then your ult usage. Who are the main heroes you play in ladder? I've kind of transitioned to a main tank. I used to play a lot of support. I can play all of the tanks just fine, but I've been enjoying main tank recently because I think it's really creative with just how much of a leadership role it is, as well as how much communication is important on that role. So I've been
Where's their Bastion?
been focusing more on main tanks. I play all the heroes though. I just suck at Widowmaker, Hanzo, and McCree. Again, another offensive and low value
Fucking
nade.
random diva.
So again,
my
like
nade.
you've got no fall off, right? So you're kind of sitting in Soldier's puddle, but you can be all the way in the back here, no problem. So here's like oh man, you almost killed a Valking Mercy. Oh my goodness, if you get this Mercy, you're dead. kind of tunnel
dude.
vision there, so not real bad, but so I wasn't giving you shit for the DPS Ana until your Orisa was critical, and then you went to kill the Valkyrie Mercy. Like, yeah, killing Valkyrie Mercy is huge, and you almost did it. Like, your aim is really fucking good. But yeah, so you tunnel visioned just that was the wrong time to go DPS Ana. And like Valkyrie Mercy is huge in terms of like value of killing her, but she only heals 60 HP per target, right? 60 health per second per target. If you focus, and again, this is bronze, so but you know, if you can't guaranteed kill the Mercy like very rapidly, you can sustain your team through Mercy heals if they don't focus you down. So if you can't, you know, if you can't be sure that you're going to be able to kill that Mercy, it's way better for you to just keep your tanks alive. So especially since your tanks were already critical, like if your tanks were full health and not in any immediate danger, yeah, try and get that Mercy. But you went DPS Ana while your tanks were critical, and I don't like that very much.
What am I supposed to do there? What am I supposed to do?
Complete.
Can you go over why Nano Turret is better than Nano Tank for Bastion in most cases for people newer to Ana? So the reason why you don't combo the Nano Boost onto Tank is because Tank is a burst damage ability. If you hit somebody direct with one of the tank shells from Bastion's ult, it's 400 damage, which is burst, right? So it can't be out-healed anyway. So putting that from like 400 to 600 really doesn't make that big of a difference. And if it's the only, like, if you wanted to like one-shot a tank, I guess, sure. But like Nano Bastion burns through Transcendence very easily. And yeah, just Nano Bastion as well. If you are, you know, you're set up the payload, way more damage. That's just a better ult. You don't need the extra damage when you're in tank form, whereas the turret form, again, way more accurate, not projectile, hit scan, more rapidly switch between targets. I don't know if there's no like sim. It's just better. Like you don't need Nano for burst damage. Oh, 205 direct hit damage? Yeah. Okay. Is it only 205 damage for a tank shell? Really? Bastion. Wiki. I don't play a lot of Bastion. Nobody plays a lot of Bastion unless you're color Bastion. Wow, it is right. You're all. I thought it was like 400. It's only 205. Cool. That makes Bastion's ult even worse than I thought it was.
2-0. Switching sides.
I was trying to heal you guys, but none of you were in the choke, so all I could do was shoot the Mercy.
Select your hero.
Nano Orisa, when she's fortifying, also makes her pretty much unkillable. Yeah, but that's kind of
You
like,
just have to hold
you
them
know,
off.
nanoing Orisa is a lot like using Grav and Shatter at the same time. It's two abilities stacking on top of each other, which is like, you know, Grav and Hammer. It's like they are so crowd controlled, like they are stunned into the next century. But it's probably better to use, you know, if an Orisa is taking a lot of focus damage, you probably need Nano or Fortify, not both. So it's kind of like Nano Blade. A Nano Blade is another situation where if you can kill the opponent team or the opposing team with only Blade, why use Nano? So Nano Blade would work, yes, but if you can kill the opponent team or get like 2 picks with Blade instead of 3 or 4, not using the Nano is actually better, because if you get the 2 kills with Blade and then the 4 kills afterwards without Blade, the 4 kills afterwards contribute to your ult economy. Whereas if you Nano Blade, you use 2 ultimates, you kill 4, clean up 2. Now you used more ultimates and you gained less ult charge. So sometimes overkill is harmful, and you should try and avoid that. Yeah, damage resistance is capped at 50%. All right, so Nano and Fortify don't
Can we
do
get a
any
Hog
extra.
or a
That's a good
Diva
catch,
or an
Evie.
off tank?
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Wait, no. Does damage resistance cap at 50 or 70? What's the damage resistance cap? Is it 50 or 70? Damage resistance cap. Reduction. I know we tested this, but I always forgot. Damage reduction cap is 50% now. Okay, they changed it. Yep.
Never stop fighting for what you believe in.
Damage boost doesn't have a cap. Damage boost is additive. So if you get one source of damage boost is 50% and another damage boost source is 50%, it's 100% overall. Damage boost is additive.
I just couldn't win.
No, damage boost is just straight up additive.
No, it wasn't your fault. It was so crazy.
Yeah, it used to be
was
70.
like-
It got nerfed to 50. I just looked it
I
up.
don't understand why everybody was, but it was like so hard for me to heal.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
There's not a damage boost cap. Nope, there's not. It's additive.
I mean, we pretty much got it the whole way, so we just have to hold them. If you guys need heals, just fall back to the point. I'm gonna be over here.
Hello. Ahlan.
This is not
It's
the
back in
greatest
this little
position for you to be in.
Get back in the fight.
If you do retreat, you lose all sorts of sidelines, so it'd be way better to play in Cafe with the mini health pack. Aim Hero is good, I just find it extremely boring, so I don't play it a lot. When does Space Jayne come? Not soon enough. Yeah, we were experimenting with damage boost and whatnot a while ago, and it's additive. Such a disrespectful sleep dart. That's so funny.
Try not to go past the white car, guys.
Yeah,
That's
so
the choke.
I definitely think that you're in the wrong here. I would not hold whatever. I don't even know the call out for this actually, whether it's dark or connector, whatever the hell you would call this. This is security, but I don't know what this door is called here. I would be holding back by Cafe. It gives you nicer sight lines, gives you a nicer route of retreat, and gives you a mini health pack. So I don't like your positioning here very much.
Especially you, Torb.
Yeah, I always forget that they changed the damage reduction cap to from 70 to 50.
Dude, how did you die so quickly?
Well, you're the healer. You should know that.
They got a Pharaoh. We're gonna have to swap off junk.
Get back in the fight.
Jesus Christ.
I'm probably just going to let it play for a little bit because I already told you the 3 things that I saw on it on attack. So unless I see something dramatically different, I'm not going to keep reiterating the same points.
He's coming from behind.
He's one shot.
Nice. Yeah, so you're probably going to get zoned out here. The soldier, I think, is going to come chase you.
You should leave this to the end.
Yeah, so you just didn't get a lot of value here, right? So your positioning made it pretty hard, and your target focus, like, nice shots. Kind of triaging on who to heal. Now here you don't really want to be
Alright, just
fighting
give it
this
to
because
him.
you're going to get
Just give it to
staggered.
him.
Are they going to chase you? Doesn't look like it. But yeah, your target focus
Getting
could
outplayed
use
by a
work.
ball. I'm getting outplayed by a Moria orb.
Yep. Can we get reviews on Tearzu? Tearzu's hilarious.
Take more than that to keep me out of the
Okay,
fight.
we have ulti. You think I should give Nano to convalescence? I mean, I don't really know what else to do right here.
I would just save it for when a tank needs to stay alive. Because not only does it make your tank stay alive longer, Nano Coalescence also works. Not only does it help your tank stay alive longer, but it also provides way more threat to the opponent, so I don't like Nano Coalescence very much. Like, the only thing it does is gives Coalescence 35 more damage per second. Not really useful. It doesn't increase her healing or anything like that, so... And the Moira doesn't really need the survivability either, because she
Okay, hide
moves
out, hide
really
out, hide out.
fast
Oh,
and
cool.
has 50 HPS, so she recovers 50 health per second personally.
Fair's left side.
It's kind of amusing to me, but You actually kind
I
of
gotta
did
get
okay here
indoors.
by
She's coming
not
for
letting
me.
the payload
Fair's
move
behind
while
us,
you were
directly
staggering.
behind us.
Now, this is a pretty common error for teams of a lot of ranks, but if you do end up in a position where you're going to lose a team fight, like you lost 3 people, it's way better to die on the payload instead of getting staggered off the payload. So your Moira kind of stayed there, and you kind of moved up as if you were going to die on the payload. I think it was completely accidental and not a conscious decision, but you actually managed to stay alive long enough for your team to regroup. So especially in bronze, where maybe people don't have the same speed in cleaning up a team fight, dying on the payload on defense, I suspect would get a ton of value, or just like kind of stalling it out. So, if your team has lost the fight on defense, try and die on the payload instead of getting staggered off of it so that they, are pushing it while they kill you.
Fair's in the building to our back right.
So just learn the major callouts, I guess. And this one's actually pretty easy. Like this one is called saloon, and this one is called bank. So if buildings have a sign out front, that's usually what the callout for that building actually becomes. So the 2 buildings on Hollywood streets are called saloon and bank, and then the one to your right is called jail because it's a jail. I know that's really shocking, and it's probably going to be a major revelation for some people. But yeah, saloon, bank, jail. No, I'm not going to say that.
I got her.
Mother knows
Nice
best.
kill.
Your mind's on Chelsea.
Watching your back.
I also, it wasn't in this specific situation. Lol, the opposing Mercy just killed your... Oh, that sucks. But I think you heal DPS, and it didn't happen in this specific team fight, but just an observation. I think you heal DPS a little bit more than tanks. So your tanks will be able to hold front lines and manage their aggression based on their health pool. So as a personal preference, I try and keep my tanks topped up as much as possible, and then I only healed my DPS more or less to prevent immediate death, impending death. That's the word I was looking for. So I try and keep my tanks as high as possible so that they can make the space and be aggressive and take the damage. I'll heal my DPS to prevent impending death, or if they're about to Dragon Blade or Visor or something, and I know that, and we've talked, I'll heal them up full and then they can go. But I like to prioritize keeping my tanks up, and then just oh, you're about to die, let me just prevent that right quick. But you focus too much on keeping your DPS topped up, whereas your tanks very commonly end up below half. Infinite death.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, but dying is not a problem, right?
Jesus.
I like the little melee
Yeah,
cancel
push me
there.
out of the way.
So, again, silver linings. Dying is not the problem. The fight was already lost before, you were the one being attacked. It's not your fault. It's not anything wrong. What can you actually, make out of this situation? Die on the payload instead, because then it's not, damn, I died. It's, haha, they took so long to kill me. I have stalled out the payload successfully. Silver linings.
I need to learn how to just turn around and run away because I'm the last one dying.
Well, yeah, you're the back line, right? So the front line dies, then the DPS die, and then they arrive at you, and then you die. So, yeah. Yes, you're the last one dying.
That's
that's
this
how it should
comp?
be.
What are we doing,
More than
guys?
that to keep me out of the fight.
Personal agency.
This will be
Did you sleep her? Nice.
You're powered up. Get in there.
So again, I think that Nano was a little bit early. Your Reinhardt wasn't in any... Oh, that would have been sweet if you slept
Mario
on her.
ulted.
Your Ryan wasn't in any immediate danger there. And again, so these are situations where you kind of have to ask yourself, why? Why am I going after this Moira? What about, without my sleep dart, what makes me think that I can actually successfully duel this Moira? And you don't have to prove how good you are on Ana. This Moira is doing nothing, but you chasing her down one-on-one gives a pretty high percentage chance of you actually losing this fight. So Moira is what I would consider something like a non-factor. Her existence here doesn't really matter. If you can stagger her out, sure, you buy yourself 10 seconds or something like that. But you're putting yourself needlessly at risk here by chasing her down. You're not a DPS at the end of the day. You know, you're a support. So this has the potential to go really wrong for you.
Where is she? Is she dead?
Yeah, so you took a 1v1 that you straight up didn't have to, and you took it at a disadvantage.
Dude, she's to the right.
High risk, low reward. Absolutely. So now, your team's in danger.
It'll take more than that to keep me out.
You
of
did
the
get the
fight.
enemy Moira, though. Your sim did.
How do I...
Just a scratch, you'll be fine.
Team up for special attack.
The Fair's top right. With the Mercy, I got her one shot.
I love your callouts. Keep it up. Your
I
callouts
can't
are
get
honestly
you up there,
great.
Widow, you gotta drop down.
Like these callouts will
Fair to the right. on the
these
building.
callouts will greatly
is
assist
good,
you
they're not really
after you've
paying the
climbed a little bit
payload.
higher. I really like it. I'm not even gonna really get that angry
her?
about you for that grenade because you did it. You used it as kind of like a heal band, and you're actually
They're gonna
positioned
be-
pretty well here. So again, like, wow, they kind of wrecked
They
you.
double ulted.
What the
they're-
fuck is happening?
So again, 2 ultimates. Hey, can we recontest? Like, you're not gonna be able to win 100% of the team fights. You're only winning about 50% of them. They used 2 ultimates. Fucking Barrage can burst through trance, let alone Barrage and Dragon, and you're just a piddly ass Anna. Okay, so they committed 2 ultimates to fucking up your tanks. I guess I'll die. That's basically what's gonna happen, right? They used ultimates. They're gonna win. Not every fight is winnable. You know, ultimates are a thing. So there wasn't a lot you could do there.
Double
So yeah, like things to not get frustrated about. People using a lot of ultimates
I don't
before the
understand
final
why
fight on
I'm
a
always
point.
getting flanked.
Like that was good. That was them killing you there, and like
They're always
using
trying
ults
to get
for
the
the honor was a good
And they know
thing.
you're back there.
That's too bad your tanks didn't push out.
Ryan, come on, Ryan. Oh, why do we have TP up? Why did you put TP up?
You're gonna nano her again, aren't you? Pretty low value.
Jesus Christ.
And honestly, you're way less toxic than I thought you were gonna be based off how everyone else was reacting to this VOD. This isn't toxicity, this is more like, this is, again, you know,
This
what
is
I
the-
kind of assumed. This is, you care
let
about
me
the
hear
game,
you.
right?
Don't
You're
run
doing
away from
callouts, you're making good contributions to your team, you're actively trying to improve the situation. You know, you're not trolling, you're not, you know, locking people, you know, you're not shit-talking people. You're actually not that toxic. I would definitely
ran out
put
of
this
mouse
more in
pad
the
there.
category of passionate than toxic.
60 seconds remaining.
Yeah, bad mental state. You just gotta look at the silver
All you have
linings.
to do is kill the Pharaoh so I don't have to.
And Buzz, so 2 more ultimates. Nice. So this is really good. They used 2 ultimates, and you countered back with 1, which is actually gonna work. Nice. How do you lose this? Does the fair like flank barrage or somebody? You're in a great position. Got Bongo up. They've only got 1 attack left. How do you lose this?
20 seconds. I got one more push.
Or do you lose
I think
this?
they
You've
have
got High
Valkyrie
Noon
up.
and Coalescence.
So
How in
save
the
your
hell
Deadeye
do
for
you
the
lose this?
Mercy. You hear me, McCree?
Or do you?
10 seconds
You're
remaining.
going to be okay.
Okay. I can't hear you there, Roadhog.
Like, I love your communication. I don't even know who you boosted. I'm not sure you do either. Now they're using Coalescence. Who did you sleep? Love it. We did it, boys. We gotta win. After all
job,
that,
guys.
you win. You know what? I think you're doing pretty good. There's, again, we're going to focus on the 3 things that you need to improve on the most. Your positioning. Be farther back. It'll make you safer. Try and play near health backs, an area where you can retreat. Manage your cooldowns way better. Unless you have protection from other sources, your grenade needs to be used as kind of like a tool to keep yourself alive. Stop using it as a replacement for poor aim. Your sleep dart is also a tool to protect yourself, not to get offensive assists. Unless you're like some super, unless you're basically Gale. And then your nano boost. Your nano boost is an error in thinking. So it's not that you're doing it in game poorly. You're just thinking about it wrong. So if you have like a friend who plays Ana or whatnot, or just fucking make a post on the Overwatch University Reddit, be like, I suck at nanos. How do I nano, please? Need to get good, thanks. But yeah, like, you need to spend time thinking about how to apply nano. Because I can tell you the situations in which nano is good, but unless you actually realize why those situations are good, you're going to be limited in your understanding. So put some thought into your nano boost. But honestly, I don't see anything holding you back from getting platinum or diamond. I think you could make plat or diamond pretty easily. What do you got? What chat? What do you think? What do you think this guy can get to? He's got great aim, man. Dude's got great aim. His calls are good, but I would have muted him age ago because of all the tutting and sighing. Yeah, more positivity, more internal agency. Absolutely. Plat? High plat? Yeah, see? If you don't believe me, Guilt, look at chat. The vast majority of chat is thinking that you can get to plat. Yeah, mechanically he's high plat. Call it wise, probably diamond. Overwatch League? Cool. Well, I don't know if you're... Because Guilt was in the chat here. But, Guilt was in the chat. And I don't know, I can't see him in the chat right now. But I hope you found that helpful. And I will definitely... Let me know how the climb goes. You can do it, dude. This is easy clap. Bronze is not for you. Bronze is not for you. Nice.